How's it going, Yankee fans? Welcome back to Fireside Yankees with your boys, Alex and Ryan. So, how are you doing? I'm doing bad, poorly, awful. You watched yesterday's game, 10-2. I mean, yeah, you expect the Yankees to at least fight. You expect them to do something. You expect them to try. And yesterday was the epitome of failure. It looked like we had never played baseball before in our lives. It looked like we couldn't hit the ball. Looked like we couldn't pitch. Domingo Germán, good God, man. Good absolute freaking God. 10 runs, 8 of them earned. He's given up 15 earned runs in his last 2 starts. That's like 5 innings, less than 6 innings worth of action. Whatever happened to him must be just devastating, traumatic. I don't know what the hell is going on, but his pitches are god-awful. He can't locate. Nothing's seeming to look. I'm convinced he was cheating now because there's no way a pitcher was performing that well and now is doing this after getting caught cheating. I mean, the game after he comes back, he was good. These past 2 performances, I don't know what's up with him, man. Like, something's got to be figured out, but I'm really worried about the starting rotation now. Luis Severino doesn't look good. Germán has come crashing back down to earth at a pace unfathomable among humanity and physics. So I'm trying to figure out, what else is there going on in this team? Well, we can obviously point to Josh Donaldson, who is basically a non-factor. This guy is a net negative. He is terrible. Watching him play is like watching kittens be thrown off a bridge. It is just devastatingly awful and painful to watch Josh Donaldson play baseball right now. Not only is he swinging at anything that even remotely looks like a strike, but he's not even swinging with any effort. Like, it looks like he's just waving at pitches. And then you watch him defensively yesterday. It's just, man, I'm sick of it. I'm like physically ill. And Ryan, I know you love this team as much as I do, if not much more. It must physically pain you to watch the Yankees go through these types of problems because we know Josh Donaldson's a good defender. Like, now his struggles are bleeding into his defense, and it's not just offense anymore. His hard hit metrics, his power metrics are good. You look at those and you're like, okay, like, those are fine, but he can't hit the ball. He's waving, he's swinging and missing, and Aaron Boone's trying desperately to justify any sort of positivity, and he's just missing them. I'm like, yes, well, when you are striking out, you are missing the baseball. I know, even if you have the timing correct and you are missing the baseball, you are still striking out. So, it is what it is. But, Ryan, what are your thoughts on Josh Donaldson and how you do today, my friend?
I'm doing all right. I feel like we're in a weird spot with Josh Johnson because, on one end, the Yankees are kind of in a weird spot with their third base situation. They're in a weird spot with their infield in general. They don't have, they quote unquote don't have a lot of infield depth. And I say quote unquote because they could always go to Peraza. He's hurt right now, or he's dealing with something right now because he was in the lineup yesterday and in the last couple of days. So I wonder what that is. But, they had opportunities to bring him up. They had opportunities to bring up when Donaldson was hurt, and they did it, right? I don't agree with him being a third baseman. I think that he should be a shortstop. But, if that's the route they take, and that's the route they're planning to take, I don't know why that's not the route they're taking right now. I understand the idea of giving Donaldson some run and trying to figure out what he is, but I think that time and that run is starting to come to an end. We're starting to see that it's not really there for him right now. The swing decisions are really bad, and the quality of contact is fine, but when you're not making good swing decisions, when you're swinging through everything, when you can't work the walks, when you're going up there, and as you mentioned, you look hopeless up there, that quality of contact doesn't really matter, right? It doesn't matter how hard you hit the ball if you don't hit the ball. I'm not going to sit here and say that Josh Donaldson's going to go up there and he's like the worst player on planet Earth or anything like that, but is Josh Donaldson going to go up there and give the Yankees the production they're looking for? I'm not really sure, and I understand that, it's early on, but we're also looking at that sample size from 2022. This is an aging player. This is a guy who's like, 26 or 27, where you're like, hey, did he just lose it? It's hard to give up on a guy like that. But Donaldson, he's getting older. He's another year older. He's coming off of the worst year of his career. It really doesn't feel like it's going to turn around, and the Yankees are going to have to make decisions. And, again, the Yankees have $40 million invested in the position between DJ LeMahieu and Josh Donaldson, and neither of those guys are the solution. You mentioned this with Domingo Germán. The Yankees are now bottom 10 in FIP, and they're they're in the bottom half of the league in ERA from their rotation. I understand injuries play a factor in that, but Severino's here, and he's pitched poorly. Cortez, when he was healthy, was pitching poorly. Cole's really been your only really good starter. Germán was the guy they were relying upon, and he's been horrible. That's another example of, if you don't have great stuff and you suddenly lose your command, you're just no longer going to be pitchable. And I don't think Germán has the stuff to try to work through not having good command. I don't think he has the great command to reliably be asked to be a command first pitcher. So those are the flaws identified prior to the season. And, I'm not shocked that he's turned around and it's gotten worse from here. I don't think he's, 10 runs in 4 innings type bad, but I don't think he was what he was in the beginning either. We're kind of just in a weird spot, right? The Yankees have a lot of money invested in different positions. The Yankees have a lot of money invested in third base. They're starting pitching, a lot of the positions that haven't been giving them anything. So, Donaldson, I know, isn't the only reason why the Yankees lost yesterday. I don't think either of us are saying that he's the reason why the Yankees lost yesterday. There's a million reasons why, most notably Domingo Germán. But it's a example, or one of the more prevalent examples, of the Yankees having a lot of financial capital invested in a player in our position group and not getting anything out of it. So, what are you going to do? Trade for a star at the deadline, add more money and trade capital to the third base position? If they're not going to call up Peraza, then that's what you're going to have to do. And if they're not going to call up Peraza, then I don't know why he's here, right? So you're just in a tough spot. You're just in a tough spot with those position groups. It's not disaster mode. The Yankees won the series, and end of the day, you're just glad they pulled that series win. But now you're facing Texas, a much better offense, a much better team. I don't know how this series is going to really end up going.
Yeah, I mean, look, the Rangers are really good, and they have a really good pitcher with Dane Dunning on the mound today, and we're hoping to God that somehow this team turns it around. But without Aaron Judge, it's not looking good. It's not looking like we have a chance against some of these better clubs. I mean, you think about our team right now; they're mostly backups, and the guys who aren't backups are struggling to a degree that it's almost unprecedented. Like, how is it that Josh Donaldson, DJ LeMahieu, and Giancarlo Stanton are struggling this much? How are they? I can get Donaldson because he's coming off the bad year last year, but DJ LeMahieu's numbers are down significantly. I don't even think that we could have fathomed a reduction of production at this rate. It's just mind-blowing to me. I don't know what it is. Is it injuries? Is it age? Is it confidence? Maybe a blend of all three. It's really difficult to kind of sit here and say, even aging players don't see that level of it. Usually it's kind of like step by step. Even Donaldson, look at his career. Step by step, slowly got worse over time. What we're seeing from DJ doesn't make sense. And Giancarlo Stanton, he's been bad for a full year now. He goes through stretches of really good, and then he gets hurt. When he's bad, he doesn't get hurt. When he's good is when he gets hurt. And it doesn't make much sense to me. And not that I ever want him to get hurt, obviously, but we want him to be healthy. He just doesn't look like he knows what's going on up there. There's no plan. He's not hitting the ball well. I don't know how this team fights back from this unless their current players find a way to correct their problems. You know what I mean, Ryan? There is no saving this team at the deadline, guys. We could go out and make moves. We could go out and get a Lane Thomas or a Brendan Donovan, who Ryan kind of floated the other day. This is a situation where the Yankees are screwed if they don't get production from the players they currently have on the roster. There is not a single player that's going to walk onto this team and rejuvenate everybody, because one player can't hit for every single player. You know what I mean? This is not a deadline-saving situation. This is we need everybody on the team to turn it around. And Aaron Judge playing well, yes, he provides confidence. Yes, he instills energy into this roster, but he can't hit for everybody. You know what I mean? You can't expect Judge to carry you, because the second he doesn't have a good game, your offense is feeble once again. The Yankees can't score more than 4 runs. It's devastating. 4 runs, guys. 4 freaking runs. Most teams can do that. Even the bad ones are capable. The Yankees don't even when we were down 8-0 yesterday. We were down 5-0. I think I tweeted out, we can already say this is a loss. This is already an L. The Yankees can't score more than 4 runs. So why on earth would we be able to score 5 or more to win this game? Of course, it ends up being 10-2, and our best player of the game is IKF, who steps in the 9th inning and has a home run and pitches for an inning. You know what I mean? When everything doesn't matter is when our guys show up, but when it actually matters, no one can hit, no one can pitch, no one can do anything. The only person that has showed up consistently this season is Garrett Cole. He's the only one that has really put on a show when he needed to. And that's what you're paying him to do. But you're also paying your big players to come up and do the same thing in their respective ways. It's just a waste of money. $290 million payroll. This is unacceptable. You know what I mean? This is unacceptable. As Yankee fans, we shouldn't have to endure this level of mismanagement. If it turns around, amazing. But you need everybody to turn around to win a championship. You cannot win championships with 3 or 4 of your primary players incapable of getting on base, incapable of hitting. You cannot win championships unless everybody is on their game at the right time for weeks. The playoffs are multiple weeks. It's not just a couple days. You have to be consistently great for weeks. I do not trust this team to even be consistently great for a couple of days at this point. Yet last year, the first half of last year is over. It's gone. It's a pipe dream to think we're going to replicate that. Now, there is one thing that can potentially save us, and it's only the All-Star break to give us a week of rest. You know what I mean? The only way the Yankees are turning this thing around is when we have that week of rest, that break, and then a mentality shift, or everyone gets a little bit healthier, and it's kind of a fresh start. Like, that's what I'm targeting right now, Ryan. Like, I don't know how you're feeling, but I think that All-Star break is the kind of the break that I'm looking at, saying if anything is going to turn around, it's going to be during that period of time.
Yeah, so one of the big things is the Yankees need to, number one, get healthy. We've been saying that for basically, for the entire season. And having to say that for the entire season, we've been saying it, really for years now. Not necessarily just on the podcast. I feel like any Yankee fan has been saying this over the last 5-6 years. If they can just get healthy and let some things fall into place, maybe they'll get things going. But that's the big if, and that's the big if every year. And, as you mentioned, they kind of need that break really badly. They need as many days that they're not playing baseball without Aaron Judge as possible, right? Like, if tonight's game, it might get rained out, you kind of hope it gets rained out. That's another day that you don't have to play without Aaron Judge. That's the point in time where we're at right now. And again, it's not great that we're sitting here and talking about, all right, the Yankees are only going to play acceptable baseball with Aaron Judge. Like, I understand the team's going to get worse without Aaron Judge. I don't think either of us are sitting here like it's a flaw to be worse without your best player and arguably the best non-Ohtani player in baseball. I mean, not arguably. I think he is the best player, not named Shohei Ohtani in baseball. I don't think that's really a debate. But what else can we sit here and tell you? The deadline doesn't have a lot of star level players available. There's not even an Andrew Benintendi available. There is no Frankie Montas. There's no Luis Castillo. There's no one like that. Shohei Ohtani is going to be the best player that is going to hit free agency that was supposed to be available, but the Angels are good. The Angels are going to try to make the playoffs. They're a game back of the Yankees, I think. They're not trying to help the Yankees. They're not trying to say, all right, screw it, guys. You know what? We're a game back of the Yankees. Let's give them a hand here by giving them Shohei Ohtani. No, they want to make the playoffs, right? All you have to do, the same way we're sitting here and we're going to say, you just have to make the playoffs, get healthy, get hot at the right time. That's the same way the Angels view it. If the Angels get one World Series out of Shohei Ohtani and then he leaves in free agency, the Shohei Ohtani tenure was a success. So they're going to go all in. There are a lot of teams that are going to be like, hey, even Brendan Donovan, I talked about him. I think he's a great fit. But if you're the Cardinals, you're going to really look and say, all right, the NL Central is not good. If we're somewhat in this thing, are we really looking to move a bat? What's the likelihood they're looking and saying, all right, let's just only help the Yankees? There are 29 other teams in this league that could want Brendan Donovan. I promise you that if someone else wants Brendan Donovan, I don't know if the Yankees are going to be giving that top offer. We're not talking about the Yankees. The Yankees aren't the only team that's going to try to make trades. So it's going to be Brian Cashman having to make savvy moves. It's going to rely on us having to make big trades, which we've historically done pretty poorly at the deadline. Not saying that means that the Yankees shouldn't trade at the deadline, just that it hasn't always gone the way the Yankees want it to. As you said, it's not like Lane Thomas. We've talked about Lane Thomas. Lane Thomas isn't the difference between the Yankees winning and losing yesterday, right? That's Domingo Germán not crapping the bed. It's the offense not getting nearly no hit by Brian Wu, right? And I'm not saying Brian Wu's bad or anything. He's a good prospect, but that's still a factor here. At the end of the day, you got to get healthy. You got to have guys in your clubhouse perform better. And that's really it. These are things neither of us can control. Those are things that you can't acquire players to do for you. You have to get healthy, and you have to have guys currently on the team produce, and that's all you can do. It's an unfortunate situation. It's kind of dire. It's kind of like, well, crap, but that's really all we can sit here and say. It's the $290 million payroll. We shouldn't be having to talk about this, but we are. So it is what it is.
Absolutely, my friends. But I'd love to hear perspectives. I know they're going to be pretty bad. I know they're going to be pretty awful. And, you have every right to be upset right now. And I think we have every right to be pretty upset about how this team is being managed. And watching Anthony Volpe, who's on a little 3-game hitting streak right now, one of the only positive silver linings I can actually find on this roster at the moment. This is what I have to say. The batting coach, Dylan Lawson and whatever they're doing, it seems to be affecting players who don't have that skill set, right? Anthony Volpe, he has power. He's at 10 homers. He can hit 20, 25 plus homers in a season. But we know he's a contact hitter. We know he's a disciplined guy. We know he's a hard-fighting at-bat type of person. Like, he can grind those at-bats and get on base. I feel as though they're not letting him do that at times. And I feel as though we've seen a different version of him in the most recent past. And It seems like we're not playing to our players' strengths at times, and we're trying to force a strategy and force a mantra on them that may not totally fit. So I'm curious to hear your thoughts, as always, in the YouTube comments. Make sure to like and subscribe, as always. And let's go Yankees tonight. I mean, a big win against a really, really good team. It would certainly turn things around. We got to show that we can compete against better clubs. That's kind of the reality at the end of the day. But as always, much appreciate you guys, as always. Stick around for tomorrow. Hopefully, we'll be a little bit more positive. But appreciate you, and we'll catch you guys on the next Fireside Yankees episode.